What is up here, YouTube? Jigsaw0097 here tonight, making another awesome movie review. Sorry about the lighting. I'm making this from my car. I just got out of the advanced screening of Blade Runner 2049, and I just really want to talk about the movie while it's still fresh in my mind. There's a lot of things that happen in this movie. If you've seen the original Blade Runner, you know what I'm talking about. This is a movie that really doesn't tell you anything. There's a lot of stuff you gotta pay attention to and you gotta figure out. Keep in mind too, since this movie is so new, I will be leaving this as a spoiler-free review, so it'll probably be a little shorter than my other movie reviews, just for that fact. But where to start here? So Denis Villeneuve, I hope I say his name correctly, is the one that directed this. This is a sequel to Ridley Scott's original Blade Runner. And basically, this is in 2049. I think the original Blade Runner came out, but it was set in the year 2019. So this is like 30 years in the future. So yeah, it's basically about this new character. I won't tell you anything about him, but Ryan Gosling plays a new Blade Runner, and he is basically tasked with eliminating replicants. They're called Nexus 8 replicants, and they're basically the old replicants. That's pretty much what Blade Runners still do, is they still hunt down replicants. If you remember from the first movie, they hunt down androids, and that's like the whole Blade Runner task force is for. It's for finding and turning in these replicants. But some things happen. He starts to learn some things, and the movie kind of goes from there. And he basically is tasked with finding Harrison Ford's character, who has been missing for 30 years. This is already in the synopsis, guys, so I'm not really spoiling anything here, but that's a big plot in the movie. He's looking to find Harrison Ford's character, Deckard, who's been missing for 30 years. So that's really all I'm going to talk about in the plot, because I really want you to experience it all for yourself. But the acting is amazing. Ryan Gosling, if you guys have seen the movie Drive, or if you guys have seen La La Land recently, like anything Ryan Gosling is in, really, the guy's a phenomenal actor, and he definitely proves it here again that he can really, really act. I don't know, this movie's still very fresh in my mind. It's a thinker. I don't know how I feel about it right now. I did really enjoy it, but it's a movie that I might need to watch about 3 more times, something like that, to really get it. Now, I'll just give you a little history of Denis Villeneuve, the director, if you haven't heard of him yet. He directed some awesome movies recently. He directed Arrival with Amy Adams, if you guys have seen that one. Really good movie. He's directed Prisoners with Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal, and then he also directed Sicario, which was another. This guy's a really good director, and all of his movies have this really like mind-bending, mess with your head feeling. Basically, you watch these movies and you don't know what to think, because they're very dark. I mean, I want to call them dark. Blade Runner is a more depressing, dark take on sci-fi. Even more so than like the Alien film, surprisingly. Just a very bleak existence in Blade Runner. But yeah, Denis Villeneuve directed this, and this, he knocked it out of the park yet again, guys, as far as filming the actual movie. This movie is one of the best looking movies I've seen filmed since Mad Max Fury Road, which came out in 2015, I believe. So in the last 2 years, this has to be one of the best looking films. I mean, Alien Covenant was up there for me too. But the sets in this movie, guys, are freaking phenomenal. The soundtrack, they nailed it. It's really in your face, loud, almost obnoxious at times, but I think that's the point they were trying to get across. But it just feels like an 80s movie, and it feels like Blade Runner. It doesn't feel like they were just trying to make a cash grab movie here. And I'm pretty sure this movie is going to divide a lot of people. I think people are going to think this is either a masterpiece or just a train wreck. I don't think there's going to be any middle ground here, similar to the original Blade Runner, because this is definitely Blade Runner, guys. If you didn't like the original Blade Runner, I really just don't think you're going to like this one either. Don't go in expecting this to be just an action movie, because it's not. In fact, I think there's only like 2 or 3 gunfights in the whole movie. This is really a psychological journey into what it means to be a creator kind of thing, but in just a completely unexpected way than you'd ever expect. It's definitely a thinker. It's probably one of the best movies I've seen all year now. I'd have to put it in my top 5. But again, this is just kind of a reaction video. Like I said, no spoilers or anything. And it's still fresh in my mind. I haven't seen it. I'll probably buy it on Blu-ray and then I'll see it more times. But just going off what I thought, it really ties itself up. That's another thing that I like about this movie, is that it was a film. It was not a sequel setup or trying to revitalize the Blade Runner universe or anything like that. It was just basically a film that can stand on its own. And just like Blade Runner, the first one, there's going to be a lot of things left unanswered, and you're going to have to watch it and pay attention. And I know Ridley Scott did help produce this as well. It's got his fingerprints all over it. So definitely, just to give my gut reaction grade here, guys, then I'll wrap this up. Cinematography, I'm going to give it an A+. Like I said, this cinematography is great. The shots are seamless. This is a work of visual art, guys. It's a beautiful film to look at in its bleakness, because it is a very dark setting, but it's just gorgeous to look at. And then acting, I would also give acting an A+ here. The actors that they picked are amazing. The one character that I would have liked to get more out of was actually Jared Leto's character. Surprised it. He was kind of a steaming turd when he did the Joker, just my opinion, but this guy has always been kind of a good actor if you've seen movies like Alexander or Panic Room, and it's good to see him in a movie like this where you can see him good again, and his character was very fascinating. They just didn't have a whole lot to do with, he wasn't in the movie as much as I would have liked him to. So there's that. And then Ryan Gosling, he kills it, Ryan Gosling kills it. He's amazing as the new Blade Runner. Harrison Ford will show up later. You've already seen that if you've seen the trailers. That's not a spoiler. But Harrison Ford, pretty amazing as well. I mean, he also has a very limited role in this movie. But I really like that Harrison Ford he's kind of tying up these old movies that he was in. He was in Star Wars, and now he's coming back for Blade Runner. I hear he's going to do Indiana Jones again. So it's really cool to see an actor of his caliber, go back to his old franchises and tie them up. So that was very good to have him in there. There's a couple other actors from the original Blade Runner that you'll see. And, it's a little wink to you. But yeah, acting, cinematography, both A+. Soundtrack, I would give a soundtrack an A, just because it is a little jarring at times. I think it was meant to be that way, but it's definitely not a soundtrack that I would, pop in and just start listening to, because it's a very loud soundtrack, very nostalgic from the first one, but it's also quite obnoxious in some points in the movie. I think that was intentional. This whole movie is meant to have that mess with your mind feeling, And so there's that. And then the storyline, the plot line, I would probably give it like an A-, just because, that's just my gut reaction. There were some things in there that they could have tied up a little better. Not that they're like sequel baiting. There's just some things they left unanswered. The movie already runs at like almost 3 hours. So I guess if they would have just spent a little bit less time with some parts and a little bit more times with others, we could have got some more resolution there. But I have to watch it again to really judge that, because again, this is Blade Runner. I'm sure and also Denis Villeneuve, most of the movies he makes, there's a reason for why he leaves things in. So this is a movie I'm really gonna have to watch again, but that's my gut reaction. So overall, guys, if I had to rate this movie right now, I would probably give it like an 8.5 out of 10. Basically a 9, honestly. I'd give it an 8.5 to 9 out of 10, just because, this is the kind of movie that I like. I already know that. It's just, I know it's going to require more viewings to really get everything out of it. So, yeah, that's kind of my review, guys. Sorry, this review ended up going on another 10 minutes like my usual reviews. I thought this was going to be a lot shorter, but there's more to talk about than I thought about, guys. But anyway, guys, Blade Runner 2049. Have you seen it? Did you like it? Do you maybe understand more things about it? Again, I want to keep this spoiler-free, but if you have comments, feel free to leave them down below. Honestly, this is spoiler-free, but you can comment down below what you thought. But this is just my early review of of Blade Runner, guys. Like I said, I got an advanced screening. It actually will come out on the 6th of October. So if you guys go see it, you know, tell me what you think. Watch this video and you can get my review for it. And if you like this video, I'm going to be doing other movie reviews on here. I do them periodically when I see movies that I think need to be talked about, and this was one of them. So anyway, guys, that is my review of Blade Runner 2049. It's a solid, screw it, I'm just going to say a solid 9. That's what I'm going to give it, guys. I'm going to give it a 9 because really it was so good in so many ways. But yeah, guys, that's the video. This is Jigsaw0097, and I will talk to you all later.